Hello there, Kyle Katarn here, coming back with some more reactions to the lore drops of Master Gnost-Dural from Star Wars The Old Republic. We are on Chapter 8, the Jedi Civil War. Let's go. We just learned about a multi-generational Sith infiltration effort into the Republic. Super impressive. It was like Palpatine times 10, because it's like if Palpatine and his dad's dad had all been like well-known, established Republic figures, and then the betrayal happens. Like, it's an unthinkable level of trust being shattered. That's so Sith. That's so devious. One of the greatest threats to the Republic preceding the Great War arose approximately 300 years before the Sith Lords Darth Revan and Darth Malak began the Jedi Civil War. Jedi Master Gnost-Dural's historical investigation steps back into this era, and he examines new evidence which reshapes the Order's understanding of the events surrounding Revan's fall and his ultimate fate. Let's go. Gnost-Dural Journal, number 8, the Jedi Civil War. Let's do it! The more I learn about this period of history, the more I'm realizing just how badly the Jedi got their asses handed to them in this war. Like, the Sith, you gotta give them credit. They really outmaneuvered the Jedi on this one.
Sith infiltrators. We are now certain that the Sith Empire began laying the groundwork for its return as far back as the Jedi Civil War. In fact, it's clear that the origins of the Jedi Civil War itself were not as simple as we once believed. The Sith Emperor's first representatives to return to Republic space are well-known names: Darth Revan and Darth Malak.
Yep.
Revan is remembered now as a legend, a great hero of the Jedi Order. But that was only after his redemption.
Didn't start that way.
Revan and Malak first rebelled against the Jedi Council by ignoring orders and assisting the Republic during the Mandalorian Wars. Revan's success in defeating the Mandalorians caused the Council to question its orders, but none realized how far Revan had already fallen. After their crushing victory on Malachor V, Revan and Malak chased the Mandalorians into deep space. It was there on Drummun Kos that they encountered another enemy entirely: the Sith Empire Reborn.
Oh.
We know nothing of what transpired when Revan and Malak met the Sith Emperor. One thing is certain: when they returned, they did so on behalf of their new Dark Master.
I would love to see that interaction.
The dark side was complete. The Emperor sent them back to the Republic to make preparations for a full-scale Sith invasion. Their mission was to recover the maps leading to the ancient Star Forge, constructed by the Rakata more than 25 centuries ago.
I love that they use that star map aesthetic in Ahsoka, too.
Accelerate the construction of the new Sith Armada. He would exact his vengeance against the Jedi and the Republic centuries ahead of schedule.
So is the Star Forge the answer then? Is that how that's how they created the Armada? In secret?
As they drew closer to the Star Forge, the two Sith Lords began to have visions of their own empire.
As always happens with Sith.
Fortunately for the Republic, Malak's thirst for power drove him to betray his master. He attacked Revan's ship and left his fallen master for dead. The Jedi found Revan wounded and unconscious.
And the rest of the story from here is very well known.
The Council made a controversial decision to erase Revan's memory and retrain him as a Jedi. Working with Jedi Master Bastila Shan, Revan recovered his strength.
Shan? Have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
Former apprentice. The Jedi Civil War was over, the Star Forge destroyed, and Revan not only redeemed, but celebrated as a hero. Deep in Revan's lost memories, however, hid the knowledge of a lurking menace far greater than Darth Malak. Indeed, the Emperor's plan to accelerate his return was thwarted, but the construction of the Sith Armada continued.
It's too bad the Council had the ability to remove his memories but not read his mind and get that information from the Emperor.
Revan returned to deep space in search of the Great Evil. What happened after that is unknown.
The Ebon Hawk.
Though Revan's ultimate fate remains a mystery, we have learned much about the events that preceded his fall. The Mandalorian Wars will be the subject of my next report.
Okay, more Mandalorian Wars to come. Yeah, the story of Revan is so wild, and I love how, like, artfully the reveal happens. I am one of those people, one of those rare Star Wars nerds of my age that did not play KOTOR growing up. I played it very late in my fandom life. I played it in my late 20s for the very first time. And I really do feel like I missed out because, God, it's such a good story. And I managed to not have the reveal, the Revan identity reveal, spoiled for me. So I got to experience that moment the way it was meant to be. And I felt very grateful for that, because this is one of the most talked about things in Star Wars Legends. Somehow I was able to just keep my head buried in the sand until I was able to play the game and get the narrative the right way. And I will say, Gnost-Dural makes it sound like it was pretty easy to destroy the Star Forge. He's like, and then it was blown up and the day was saved. Well, let me tell you, that boss fight was an absolute bitch. Those of you who remember the stream when I streamed it on Twitch, like, oh God, we really went through the trenches on that one. But we won. We saved the day. Good old Revan. Yeah, this was fantastic. This was a nice little refresher of the first game. And I wonder if we're going to get anything about KOTOR 2 in a subsequent journal. I'm a little nervous about that because I haven't actually played KOTOR 2 yet. I am planning to do a playthrough of that later on this year on Twitch for the first time. Stay tuned for videos about that. But I still, just like with KOTOR, am pretty much in the dark about what the story is of KOTOR 2. So when that comes, hopefully I will be preserved. We'll see. You can let me know in a comment below, actually. Let me know if there's going to be anything touching on the events of KOTOR 2 that maybe I don't want to see yet until I've played the game. I imagine it'll be fine. And more context is always welcome, in my opinion. That's the kind of fan that I am. But yeah, let me know. Weigh in, those of you with opinions about this. Those of you who've played both games. Tell me if I should wait on that or not. But I'm really enjoying these journals. Like, it's not only just like really enhancing my experience of being a SWTOR player, but it's also just sort of enhancing my experience as a Star Wars fan and filling in these gaps in galactic history where some pretty major events are going down that, like, you wouldn't know about it unless you read the journals. You really wouldn't know. You might have heard like a throwaway line of exposition about it, heard some event named once, but you'll just be like, oh, I wonder what that was. You know, you're left with this feeling. And I love that these journals really cut through that noise and just tell you exactly what you need to know. That feeling of having little bits and pieces of history, like these throwaway lines of exposition, and you don't really know the larger picture, I think that is very authentic to George Lucas's original vision for Star Wars and for what he thought the audience experience should be. It makes me think of this passage from The Making of Star Wars, where he says, Lucas had a desire to recreate the feeling of disorientation he'd felt as a student watching films from different cultures. All of its customs, history, language, and mannerisms strangely exotic, somewhat familiar, but not explained. Like, that's absolutely the philosophy that he went with when you first stepping into that world. You hear about the Senate, you hear about the Emperor, you hear about the spice mines of Kessel, you hear about all of these different things that are never expanded upon and really not explained for you in the moment. It's just to let you know that this is out there and that this exists, and you're not supposed to have all the answers, you know? You're supposed to feel like that farm boy who just stepped off his own planet for the first time in his life, and now he's in this huge galaxy, and there's so many things, and you're not supposed to feel like an expert. You're supposed to feel like you're out of your depth, you know? That the largeness of the galaxy should intimidate you and make you feel small, you know, and like you don't have all the answers. And so the way that they're going about this, it's interesting to me because on the one hand, it's kind of antithetical to George Lucas's philosophy of show, don't tell. But it's just so rewarding when you play a game as deep and as layered as SWTOR, where it really does rely on a knowledge of history to help carry over some of that context and to give you some of the emotional punch that comes with some of these story moments. Like, the story's well crafted. The emotional gut punch is there, but you feel it so much more deeper, so much more viscerally when you're thinking about like the decades that came before this and all of the things in galactic history that led up to this moment that your character gets to be a part of. And it's a very special feeling. Yeah, I love SWTOR, man. I'm going to be playing this game until the servers go offline. You know, God knows if that'll even happen. This game's been going since 2011, and there's no end in sight. Broadsword has taken over. They're updating it. Hell, a brand new galactic season actually came out today. I'm going to be playing that when I finish recording this video, actually. I'm going to go check it out. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, really enjoying these journals. More of them are coming. They drop once a week right here on the channel, so you can stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Check out the rest of the channel for more content, reactions, and reviews. Leave me a comment if you have a question or something to say, or if you've got a Star Wars fan film to recommend to me. I'm trying to react to every Star Wars fan film ever made. I have a Discord server. There's a link in the video description here. That's a great place to send me those fan film links. You can also support the channel over on Patreon, get access to a bunch of cool exclusives like early access, full uncut reactions. You can vote in polls and decide what I react to next. Check it out. Thanks again, and as always, may the Force be with you.